falls over Manhattan. The city's lights flicker against the glass towers, each window a silent witness to deals and decisions that shape the world. At the very top, a handful of names control more than empires. They control the flow of money itself. But the true architecture of billionaire power is almost invisible, engineered in boardrooms, trusts, and shell companies. Tonight, we're tracing the secret scaffolding behind the world's richest and asking how much of their power is built on what we can't see. To the public, billionaire power has always looked like a triumph of vision and drive. The market lauds these figures as the ultimate risk takers, self-made, relentless, and always a step ahead. Think of Warren Buffett, the Oracle of Omaha, who turned a failing textile mill into a global investment engine. Or Jeff Bezos, who reimagined commerce from a Seattle garage, transforming Amazon into the backbone of the digital economy. Their stories are legend. They're celebrated as the faces of innovation, discipline, and above all, meritocracy. The market respects them because they seem to play the same game as everyone else, just better. But beneath the surface, the game itself is rigged by design. The real edge isn't just in bold ideas or relentless work ethic. It's in the hidden levers, the trusts that shield assets from taxes, the offshore accounts that blur regulatory lines, the holding companies that obscure true ownership. The architecture of billionaire power is a labyrinth of legal entities, each layer separating the individual from the risk and their wealth from the reach of the law. It's a world where power multiplies quietly, in the shadows. For example, look at the Walton family, the heirs to Walmart. Their fortune is famously public, regularly topping lists of the world's wealthiest. But the real story isn't just about Walmart's sales figures. It's about a network of family trusts and holding companies, meticulously structured to minimize taxes and maximize control. Or consider the tech titans who transfer their shares into irrevocable trusts, locking in generational wealth while sidestepping estate taxes. These strategies aren't illegal, they're just invisible to most. And that invisibility is the point. Rehook, the turning point comes in moments of crisis or scrutiny. In 2016, the Panama Papers leak exposed how the global elite, including billionaires and politicians, used offshore entities to hide assets and evade scrutiny. Suddenly, the hidden architecture was headline news. Regulators and the public caught a rare glimpse of the machinery that preserves and extends power. The response was swift. Governments promised crackdowns, compliance teams scrambled, and the public narrative shifted. But the architecture itself proved resilient. For every loophole closed, another quietly opened. The structures were simply too complex, too global, and too lucrative to dismantle overnight. For the markets, the lesson was clear. The real story was in the fine print. Investors, analysts, and rivals began to look beyond earnings reports and CEO interviews. They started mapping ownership structures, scrutinizing filings for clues about who actually controlled what. Private equity firms, hedge funds, and even sovereign wealth funds began to mimic the same strategies, using layers of entities to manage risk, reduce taxes, and defend against hostile takeovers. The architecture of power became a blueprint, not just for billionaires, but for anyone with enough capital and ambition to play the game. This is where money, leverage, and secrecy intersect. The most valuable asset isn't just cash or stock, it's control. And control is most secure when it's invisible. The billionaire's hidden edge is not just about having more, but about being able to move, shield, and multiply assets with surgical precision. It's about building structures that outlast political cycles, regulatory changes, and even public outrage. The architecture is designed to endure. What does this case reveal about power? It's that the rules are written by those who understand the architecture best.
True power lies in the ability to shape the landscape beneath the surface, to design systems that favor your interests, then disappear behind the curtain.
Billionaire power isn't just about out-earning the competition. It's about out-engineering the system itself. For business leaders, investors, and policymakers, the challenge is to recognize the difference between what's public and what's possible. The story of hidden architecture is a reminder that transparency is not the default, it's the exception. Power in the end is as much about what's hidden as what's revealed. If you found this perspective valuable, consider subscribing for more stories on the unseen forces shaping our world.